When we first bought Gordon, we bought it from Andy's Imports in Norfolk, and it was originally imported as a tin top. However, we paid Andy to do a full conversion inside, but also to put the Fiamma awning on the side, as you can see, and also we asked him to fit one of these. Now this is a pop top made by a firm called Drive Lodge, fitted by Andy, but made by a firm called Drive Lodge. I'll put the link in the description below. However, when it arrives, inside it's got a false floor, well, a false roof, which is then the floor for the upper bedroom. But as you can see, it's in 1, 2, 3 and 4 boards. So 2 small boards and 2 long boards. And the idea being is that you stack the boards, you lift them up, pretty much like that, and then you stack them on top of each other, all at that far end over there, which I think you'll agree is a bit time consuming. It also it doesn't look very nice. So what I've done is I removed that one, because this small one we have to remove so that we can gain access to the roof, to where the bed is. However, in here, for more head height and so that we don't have to stack the boards anymore, I put it on gas struts. So what I've done is I've bolted that end board in, and then the 2 long boards, the 2 wide boards, the 2 bigger boards of the 4, I've fixed together, and then I put a gas strut on each side, and it goes up on its own, dead easy. And it's just as easy to bring it down, and it stays down until you give it a little bit of pressure, and then it goes back up on its own. So what I'll do is I'll go through how I've done it, just in case any of you want to do the same thing if you've got the same roof. So let's start with this backboard. So what we've done with this backboard is, you can see the silver screw there. That is an M6 bolt that goes through the metal rail. This is a metal L-shaped rail that's fitted on the conversion, but that screw goes through the metal rail, through the board, and is bolted above. And the same on that side. You can't really see it because it's just inside the cupboard. The grab rail is there for when the bed's down. I'm getting old, so when the bed's down I can use the grab rail to lift myself up, to get upright. So that's how the backboard's fitted in, and you have to fit the backboard in and bolt it in, because if you don't, what happens is when you come to pull this down, it lifts that backboard. So you do have to bolt that backboard in. But the gas struts are connected at the top, and then they come down to these little brackets here. Now the gas struts are 300 Newton meters, which means that they'll lift about 30 kilograms. And it's the same over here. So all I've done is drill through, because remember, this part is actually the roof, the existing roof, the old original roof before it was cut. So I've drilled through there, put the bracket in, gas strut fitted to it. Now above, what we've done above is, at the back there, you can see the nut that is for the bolt that we put through for fixing everything together. You can also see 2 hinges, one there and one there. Now those 2 hinges are obviously to connect the two big boards to the small board at the back, enabling it to lift up and hinge on that point. Now the way that I fixed the two boards together is with a piece of this aluminium. Now this aluminium I actually bought from B&Q, and it's about probably about 1 inch by 1 inch, which is enough, because when the roof comes down there is a clearance. In fact, I'll get a tape measure and then we'll measure it. As you can see, in fact I was wrong, it's actually 1.5 inches. So I work in old money because of my age, but it's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, definitely 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Right, so what I've done is the angle, I've cut it off an angle and I've rounded the corners off, and what I've done is I've drilled holes periodically about 3 3/4 inches apart. Now I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the first board, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the second board. And what that does is it now connects both boards together with this angled piece. So we've got the same on that side, 5 on one board, 5 on the other board. So that's good. What I've done with the gas struts is I've drilled a hole in the angle aluminium there, and I've fixed the ball joint from the gas strut. It's an M8 bolt with an M8 nut. I am going to cut these down and I'm going to put plastic caps over them, so that when I put the bed in here, because I'll show you the bed in a minute or two, but I'm going to cut these down. I'm going to put a black plastic cap over there so that it doesn't damage the bed when I'm up here. And on that side there, which is obviously fixed to the van itself, is the bracket with the other end of the gas strut. Same again, got a plastic cap on the end of the nut to stop it getting damaged. And this side is exactly the same. Now what that enables me to do now is very simply just press that and it goes up. Now what I've got at the top is I've got clearance, and I've got clearance of about just over 2 inches, just over 2 inches clearance. And the reason for that is that I actually put a bed up there. I put this up there, which is 2-inch foam with a cover on it, and that goes up there and that stays up there permanently, because when you drop the roof there is enough clearance between the roof and the boards that you can leave it up here permanently. Don't know if you can see it at the back, but at the back you can see the contour of the original roof. So if you see it, its highest point there, its highest point is just less than 2 inches. So you can leave the foam up here as a permanent bed, and that's the reason for me leaving that gap there, is so that you can actually leave the foam up there and you can just pop it up. Now the only drawback of doing this is the fact that the two roof lights that are in, only one of them's really usable. Bit of a downside, however they are LED lights, so even if you do have the lights on, they don't produce any heat as such, so therefore you're not going to actually have any fire damage or anything. However, this one is still usable. This one still lights up the whole cab area. You can still use them two lights when you're up in the roof, or the fortress of solitude as I call it, but there's only really one that does the cab itself. Right, so now I've got the roof down, and you can see there's just under 3 inches of clearance between the roof and the actual board itself, so there is more than enough room in there for the foam mattress, which is great because it means that we can leave it up there and it's less stuff that we need to store somewhere else. What I've done now is I've now cut that bolt down, and I've just put these little plastic caps on. I put the plastic caps on just so that it doesn't catch on anything, so obviously when the bed goes in, it doesn't rub on the bed, and it just looks a little bit neater. Right, so the bed's in now. So the bed fits perfectly between the aluminium. The aluminium actually holds it in and stops it from sliding about anywhere. But the bed, all it is a piece of memory foam mattress. I think I bought it off eBay, but it's a memory foam mattress with a duvet cover that Mrs. B cut down and fitted perfectly to it, and it fits in here perfect, and it stays in here permanently because, like I showed you, when you bring the roof down, there's more than enough clearance for this, because the actual mattress itself is just a little over 2 inches, and as we saw from before, we've got 3-inch clearance, so this stays in here permanently. Now what you notice is there's a gap here. We cut the piece off the end of the memory foam, and we covered that separately. So what we do now is we have the infill board and the one piece of memory foam that fits in this gap, and we actually store it on top of the bed, store it about there, with the duvet during the day, and then just pop the roof up. This is the board that we remove to gain access to the roof bed, but this is the offcut of foam that we have, and yes, it is marble, and no, we don't have kids, and yes, this is my bedroom when we're out camping. Mrs. B takes the bed downstairs, I get the bed up here, mainly because I snore, and I like to have this full area stretch out a bit. But one thing I didn't show you was how wide the actual bed is. So the bed itself is, in old money, 35 inches wide. So I don't know if you can see that, but 35 inches wide, just under 3 foot. It's 2'11", so more than enough room for me, because I'm only small, but having the roof board there and that piece of spare foam, the roof still goes up and there's still clearance. Like I say, during the day I actually leave the duvet down the bottom end, because the roof doesn't come down during the day, or if we're leaving the roof up, I leave the duvet down the bottom, and there's enough gap down there for the duvet and the pillars and everything, and then it's less stuff in the van, because at the moment the pillows are normally stored behind the rib bed. So all in all, dead easy to use, and a very nice solution to a bit of a problem that we had. Hope you like it. If you do like the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, please subscribe.